guys, welcome back. So here we are, another episode of Ask Snes. Hope everybody's doing well today and hope weather's good. Still hot here, not cooling down at all. Amazing, it's been like nearly 2.5 months or something, maybe nearly 3 months now, and it's just not going away. And it's bloody hot, but there you go, that's going to be me every week now, it's just hot. Right, so let's crack on with the questions, guys. Got quite a few this week. So first question comes from Andy7666, who asks, am I going to revival in Wolverhampton this coming weekend? Unfortunately not, mate. Due to finances, I'm not doing a lot at the moment. I've said in previous videos, money's a bit tight, so yeah, unfortunately not. I do plan on going to Blackpool next year though. That's the one I really want to go to. So yeah, hopefully everything works out and you know things improve and I get money, and then yeah, I'll be in Blackpool next year because that's really what I want to go to. I want to meet everybody on there because that looked like a really good event when I saw everyone this year. So yeah, definitely up for that one. Right, next questions. Okay, and yeah, and I've forgotten. He did tell me how to pronounce his name last week, and I've forgotten. It's FXO Vigata. I know. Sorry, mate. I should have looked it up again to find out how to pronounce it correctly. First question. Right, okay, these are long questions. Right, okay. First question is: you have a 10-year-old son or daughter, or niece or nephew, that has shown an interest in retro gaming. You can pick one console and 5 games to get them started. What system and games would you pick? That's straightforward. Super Nintendo, because it's 2D, it's not particularly difficult to get into. The games are pretty accessible and the graphics are akin to a lot of the stuff you're going to get on phones and iPads and that, so they'd be okay playing those. I think they'd be more open to it. 5 games to get them started. So Super Mario World, definitely. I mean, that's essential because it's a really fantastic platform game and it's a really easy game to get into as well, and there's a lot of exploring to be done. And just trying to think, because you're talking 10 years old, so I don't know how adapt 10-year-old kids are at the moment. They're pretty better than I think they are actually. Let me see. So I'll give Mario World, Mario Kart, because you have to, because it's a fantastic racing game and it's got that amazing battle mode as well, so keep them and their friends happy, which is, you know, fantastic type. Shows what the console's capable of. And I've given Star Fox. It's a little more technical. You know, you've got to really think on your feet, and the aiming's not particularly brilliant on the original, but it's a fantastic example of a shoot 'em up. So that's 3. And then 4 and 5. I think I just have to give them Castlevania 4, just because it's such a classic, and you know, it's just something that everyone needs to play, and the soundtrack alone is just phenomenal. So yeah, definitely Castlevania 4. So it's Mario World, Mario Kart, Castlevania 4. What was the other one I picked? Oh yeah, Star Fox, of course. And then one more. See, I would say Street Fighter, but that's kind of technical. You need to learn all the moves and everything. It's not as easy to just jump into. So we'll disregard Street Fighter, even though it's amazing. And the 5th one. What is that noise? Christ. I think it's the resurface. They're doing the roads a lot around here at the moment, they're resurfacing everything, so it could be what that is. Could be one of those machines. Let me see. And the 5th one. Oh, that's a tough one. Actually, yeah, Super Buster Brothers or Super Pang, depending on where you live. That is an absolutely superb game, and that'd be really fun, you know, for a 10-year-old. Anything like that, or Bomberman, just something really simple and just enjoyable. So yeah, I'd go with those 5. Technically 6, but technically 7 if you count Street Fighter. But hey, it's hard to narrow it down really with the Super Nintendo, I think. Question number 2. Okay, what planet in the solar system would you like to visit, assuming atmosphere and the environment isn't an issue? Ooh, that's a good question, mate. Oh shit. I don't know, to be honest. It'd have to be something like Jupiter or Saturn, something that's, you know, not really been explored. Because obviously they're focusing on Mars quite a lot now, but I find that kind of a boring planet. I want something that's got a bit of character to it, so I think yeah, Jupiter or Saturn. Saturn in particular would be quite cool. It'd be interesting to see what that's all about. And the next part of that question is, what item would you leave leave there for an alien race to find. You don't have to go deep if you don't want. Could just be something funny, unique, personal to you. It'd be really funny just to leave them a Super Nintendo console. No instructions, nothing, just the console, power supply, a SCART cable and a controller with one game, with a copy of Mario World, and just to see if they could work out what the hell it is and what to do with it, and how would that shape their view of society, of civilization on Earth. That would be quite quite strange. I've always wondered what if they, I assume there are other life forms out there somewhere. It makes a lot of sense that there is. At least there's the potential for it. So I do wonder if they ever came across us, or if they have already, what they actually make of our civilization. Because there's so many different facets to humanity, and I just think it'd be quite interesting to get their view on it from the outside. Because obviously, I would assume if they have visited, it would be like Star Trek First Contact, and we had to reach a certain point before they actually come down and make contact. So it would have been like when we first ignited the atom bomb, would have been the thing that given the signal, I would assume, that we've reached a certain level of intelligence. That's what I think anyway. I don't know if we'll ever find out the true answer to that, if they actually, if there is life on other planets, if they have visited us or not. I would like to think that hopefully in my lifetime we might find out, but the way the governments are, they're way too secretive, and rightly so in a way, because obviously they want to protect humanity and they want to make sure there's not a mass panic. But I do think now a lot of people are open to it, and it wouldn't really make that much difference. But anyway, going back to the question, I would leave a Super Nintendo Mario World and see what they think of that. At least they'd be entertained anyway. All they need to do is, that's assuming of course they've got a TV that they can actually plug a SCART cable into. Never thought about that. Better leave them multiple connections just in case. So I'll give them a composite cable as well, and an S video just to be certain. I wonder if they even have TVs. I'm sure they have displays, but whether they have TV programs and whether they have CRTs is another thing. They probably have like flat screens. Who knows? Anyway, question number 3. So these are good questions. I like these. Question number 3. You go on the show like Mastermind, and are asked to pick a general knowledge topic and more specific specialist topic. What topics would you choose? General knowledge. Oh my god. That's a good question, mate. I'm trying to think what you could really pick for that. I think specialist topic would be something like conspiracy theories or something like that, because that would be quite an interesting one, because I have delved into quite a lot of that over the years, the different conspiracies about different, like JFK, Roswell, and MK Ultra, and several other different topics. So I think that would be a really fascinating one. Be interested to see what questions they come up with on that one. General knowledge. General knowledge is general knowledge really. So it's difficult to pick a specific topic because they just ask you random questions. I know that people are supposed to know about everything, but if I was going to pick a specific topic, it'd probably be like world leaders or presidents or something like that. Something straightforward, I think. Yeah, that'd be the one to go for. Right. Question number 4 is massive, so it's going to take a long time to read this one. Okay. So question number 4, it says, you receive an email from a Nigerian businessman, okay, informing you that a distant relative has recently passed and you're entitled to a large sum of money and his belongings. As such, an email would obviously be legitimate, of course. You arrange to have the money and items sent to you. Upon receiving the belongings, you come across a will and learn that the deceased family member was in fact a board member at Nintendo. I like where this is going, this is good. And that his true dying wish was to have his beneficiary assume his role at Nintendo. With this new information, you make your way to Japan and Nintendo headquarters for a meeting with top Nintendo personnel. After introductions and being somewhat surprised by firmness of Miyamoto's handshake, Iwata informs you that the deceased relative had recently put forward a motion to reimagine three long-dead IPs for the Wii U. The board also agreed that they would be willing to purchase one old IP from another publisher, developer, if needed. Unfortunately, your distant relative died before he was able to inform the board of his chosen 3 IPs. It is now your duty to pick said IPs. What would they be? Jesus Christ. Oh my god. So we've got 3 dead IPs that are going to be resurrected and used on the Wii U. Well, I can pick one, which sort of is dead and sort of isn't, which would be Mega Man. Because not for me personally, but I know a lot of people love Mega Man. And I know they've got the Mighty Number 9 coming out, which is a Kickstarter program as far as I'm aware. But I know there's been a lot of controversy with Mega Man games getting canned in the past, so I would make sure that was done. Although, I don't know how that would, because Capcom at the moment, they've got that whole financial situation where someone could buy them, so I don't know how that would work, but we'll just assume that they can do another Mega Man, so we'll resurrect Mega Man, get that on the Wii U, because that definitely needs to be done. It's really hard now, because they've just done Star Fox as well, that's coming out, so it's just kind of limiting my ideas now. And what else will we have? So we did two more, so we've got Mega Man. Yeah, I'll have a look there and see what I've got, see if I can think of anything that's not alive anymore. Actually, yeah, Double Dragon, because I know they did that digital version a few years back, which was absolute crap. A brand new, fully modernised Wii U version of Double Dragon, because that is a great game. That should definitely be done. And then, likewise, I would bring back Final Fight, because Final Fight needs a decent game. It hasn't had a good game since Final Fight 3 on the Super Nintendo, so that is a franchise that I love and should definitely be resurrected. So I'll go with them: Mega Man, Final Fight, Double Dragon. Technically two scrolling beat 'em ups, but it is my favourite genre, so hey. That's a really, really cool question, mate. I like that. That's a lot of thoughts gone into that one. That was excellent. So thanks for the questions. Next question comes from Big King Bacon, who asks, if you had to live with a 16-bit brother, which one would it be and why? That's not really fair, is it? Apologies to the lads if they're watching. Tough one, because they're all really top blokes. So it's hard to just pick one of them, because they'd all be really cool to hang out with. I'll probably go with Johnny. Sorry, Danny. Only reason being because Johnny's got a really great laugh, and he just seems like a lot of fun, and he just seems like he's always happy. And I need a lot of positivity in my life, so that would be really cool. I mean, they're all pretty happy people. Roger seems like he can get a little bit pissed off sometimes. But yeah, I'd say Johnny, because Johnny seems like a geezer, and I think he'd be a good laugh to hang out with. But they all would really, so yeah. It's not really fair picking one of them. Next set of questions come from Sniper. And first question is, did I ever get into Pokemon? I never, mate. To be honest, I think that was after my time growing up, as far as the cartoons are concerned. So I never really watched it. I've seen like bits here and there, and of course it flicking the TV channels and that. So I'm aware of what Pokemon is. I just don't really know a whole lot about it. His main character's Ash, isn't it? I think that's what he's called. And obviously like Pikachu, and that's about my limited knowledge of it. Did you ever play Star Wars Battlefront, and if so, does the upcoming DICE Battlefront interest you at all? I've never played Star Wars Battlefront. The new Battlefront I didn't know was coming, so it doesn't interest me at the moment. I'd have to look into that to see what it's all about. Star Wars games I'm not a massive Star Wars guy, but the games I do tend to like when I play them. So like, I love the Super Nintendo games. The GameCube games were really, really fun, but I don't think I've ever played Battlefront. Was that on the original Xbox? I can't remember. I've got a feeling it was. I'm sure there was Battlefront and Battlefront 2. But I don't think I've ever played them, not as far as I can remember anyway. And question number 3. I'm not sure if this has been answered before, but do you care about achievements and trophies? For me, sometimes it affects the way I play a game, which is bad, I guess. No, I don't. It's not that I don't care, I just don't really pay attention to them. I've never been someone who, like what they call a trophy whore. I'm not somebody who goes hunting for all the trophies and has to platinum a game. It's never been something. I don't know if that's just something in your makeup that makes you want to do that, and it's just a psychological thing. Like collecting. When I'm playing a game like The Last of Us, where there's stuff lying around, I can't leave a room without searching the room and collecting every last bit of whether it be like a document, or it be a map, or it just be pieces to put together to craft an item. I just have to pick everything up, and I'm constantly just spamming the buttons. But in terms of achievements and trophies, now I'm just the kind of guy. I'm playing a game, so I'm playing Uncharted, and it'll go bling, and it'll go, you got 50 headshots. I'll be like, oh, nice. It doesn't really make any difference to me. I've never seen the point of them, but I know a lot of people love that. So thank you for the questions. Okay. So next question comes from my main man Skins. Hello. And he says, I'm terrified of spiders. Under controlled circumstances is fine. I'm fascinated actually. My question is, when you say you have really big spiders in your house, how big are these talking? Well, to me they're big because I used to be terrified of spiders as well. I couldn't stand the bloody things, you know. And the ones I'm getting lately, they seem to have like long, thin bodies, but they're not massive. They're probably about half an inch long. That sounds quite big actually, but yeah, they're about half an inch long. But they've got these massive legs. I mean, they're like 6 foot legs. They're huge, and it's really weird. It's like the body is like dwarfed by the legs, and I get quite a lot of them. I've seen one which has got about like an inch body. He's a big bastard. He hides out in the garage, and you'll go in the kitchen, you can see the garage window, and occasionally you'll see him in there with his webs and everything. He's just covered my bloody window. He's a pain in the arse. But yeah, I mean, generally I've been okay lately. They're quite invisible, and occasionally you might see them on the walls and things, and just get rid of them. But yeah, the big one in the winter, he's a pain in the arse because you'll be sitting there watching TV, and you just catch something out the corner, and you'll be like, I just saw something move, and you look down, and you'll just see him, and it's really funny because he goes ninja. You'll be running across the floor, and he'll just stop, and he'll look at me, and he'll just be sitting there, and he won't move. As soon as I start looking away, then he'll start moving again. He's a crafty little soul. But yeah, but it has helped me a lot with my arachnophobia because I don't care at all anymore. Spiders don't bother me. Don't get me wrong, if a tarantula came in the house, I'd be out the door because that's a completely different situation. But house spiders, no, I'm fine with them now. So I think that's all you need to do, mate. Just move to the country if you're not there already, and just be around spiders 24/7, and eventually you just get used to them. The worst thing for me is snails. Oh, I'm sick of snails. I'm sick of walking out in the garden and you hear that crunch. It's just, it ain't nice. You know, it happened this morning. I went in the garage, walked out the garage, there was a snail by the door, didn't know he was there, splat. Yeah, it's not good. Right, okay. Okay, so I've got another question from Big King Bacon further up. The question is, if you could recast Die Hard, interesting, from game characters, who would you cast as John McClane, and who would you cast as the gang of bad guys and the head bad dude? So like Hans Gruber. Using video game characters. Right. Hans Gruber would be Joel from The Last of Us. I think he'd be a really cool replacement. Because even though he's not as evil as Hans Gruber, he's a bit of a bastard. And he really doesn't care. So he would be a really cool bad guy. Just trying to remember all the bad guys in Die Hard. There's quite a few in the first one. John McClane is a tough one. I mean, you could be obvious and go with Nathan Drake, but I think actually no. You know what? That would actually work because John McClane's got a good sense of humour. He makes a lot of jokes while he's killing all the bad guys. So actually, yeah, Nathan Drake would actually work quite well. So we'll have Nathan Drake for John McClane. We'll have Joel from The Last of Us for Hans Gruber. I'm just trying to think of all the bad guys in the original movie. There was the guy that he sends down the lift at first with the ho 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 on his jumper, with the glasses. He looks very German. Apologies to any Germans. But he did look classic German. As did the guy with the long blonde hair as well. The guy in the lift, who are we going to get to play him? That's really hard. You start casting the bad guys. That's really tough actually. Same with the guy with the long blonde hair as well. I mean, the long blonde hair guy would have to be like a Final Fantasy guy or somebody like that, some Ponzi guy. I don't know any Final Fantasy guys. That's going to knacker me up straight away. And so look, what have we got up there? Let's get some inspiration. You know, I really don't know. That particular, that is really different. I mean, technically they'd be NPCs, they're not really that important, are they? You could use anybody. I think the most important ones are John McClane and Hans Gruber. So, yeah, we've got Nathan Drake versus Joel. That could be an interesting matchup, I think. Yeah, I'll have a think, see if I can think of something, because the bad guys, that's a tough one, mate. Good question, though. I like that idea. Okay, so it's like Vegeta, is that right? FXO Vegeta, is that right? Tell me if that's right. I've just noticed his other comment where he's explained it. Okay, right. Okay, so looking for questions. Right, okay, so good mate Sean, Retro Balls. So, simple question, leg or breast? Well, if you're talking about chicken, mate, it's breast all the way. But if you're not, and you're talking about the obvious, I'm more of an arse, mate. I'm not. I like a nice bum. Can't beat a nice butt. Yeah, breast is good, leg is good, but you can't beat a nice round arse. Right, next one. Next questions are from Muzz247673. Oh, start again. Muzz247365. Hello. Okay, so regular asker of questions, top bloke, and he's asking me, do you have a favourite game developer, company, or person? Yeah, Naughty Dog. Two actually, Naughty Dog and Quantic Dream, bloody Quantum. Yeah, Naughty Dog and Quantic Dream are the two favourite developers at the moment. Naughty Dog, they just smash it every time. They just knock it out of the park. You know, right from the PlayStation 1 to now, they always come with the goods. And especially recently with Uncharted and Last of Us, I mean, man, them games are just something else. They're just really, really, really impressive. And Quantic Dream, I absolutely love. I mean, I'm a massive Heavy Rain fan. That game just absolutely blew me away when it came out. It was so unexpected. I didn't think I was going to like it at all, and I was absolutely blown away. Just sucked into the world. Loved every minute of it. I know the game seems to be quite, divisive. Some people are loving it, some people are hating it. There doesn't seem to be a lot of middle ground. I'm definitely in the camp of loving that game. It's amazing. Beyond Two Souls, really solid game. I really enjoyed it. I didn't think it was a patch on Heavy Rain myself. I preferred the story in Heavy Rain, I preferred the characters in Heavy Rain. But I did really enjoy Beyond Two Souls nonetheless. It was still a decent, solid game. So those are my two, Naughty Dog, Quantic Dream. Awesome developers. And, right, so next up. Question number 2. Did you watch the Commonwealth Games? Is it a waste of money? Yes, it's a waste of money. Only because I didn't watch it and I don't care. I do not care. When it comes to sport, I'm one of those people that has the smallest amount of interest. I watch bits of the World Cup. The only thing I ever really pay attention to is Wimbledon. Wimbledon's the only thing I find interesting. When I was a kid growing up, my dad used to watch snooker all the time and used to watch the Crucible. So I have to watch a lot of that, and I got into that and it was good. But over the years, that's got boring as well. It seems to me there aren't a lot of personalities. It's not like the old days, because they can't drink, they can't smoke, they can't do anything, and it's really boring these days. Back in the 70s and 80s, you had a lot of big names and a lot of really cool characters in the snooker game. So it's a shame, really. But yeah, Wimbledon's my thing at the moment. I love tennis. I love watching that. I find it fascinating. It's really, really, edge of the seat stuff. I enjoyed the World Cup though. I must admit, when I was cheering on the Americans, I finally started to kind of see why people like football so much. So I was really getting into that until they got knocked out, which sucked. But hey, but yeah, to me, the Commonwealth Games I had no interest at all, and it was taking over the TV. I mean, I don't watch a lot of TV because, to be quite honest, there's nothing to watch on TV anyway. It's crap. But Commonwealth Games was just on constantly, and I was like, this is a bit ridiculous now. But yeah. Anyway, question number 3. With so many ways to spend our free time, do you struggle to choose between them? I.e., do I play a game, watch a movie, watch YouTube videos? I don't do too badly. Sometimes you can get a bit out of hand because my main entertainment is playing video games, watching YouTube, watching the occasional movie when there's a new one to watch. And the big one for me is American TV shows, which I've talked about before. I watch a hell of a lot of American TV shows. And sometimes if I don't watch them on the day that they've been released, I can get to a point where I'm overwhelmed. And at the moment I've got a lot of stuff backed up that I need to get stuck into. The final season of The Killing was on Netflix apparently recently. I didn't know that. And I found out that it'd been on and I was like, oh shit. So there were 6 episodes of that. So the last 2 days I've spent just binge watching those 6 episodes. I've now got True Blood to watch, I've got The Strain to watch, I've got Graceland's Rookie Blue, I've got last night's Daily Show from America to watch, obviously, and I've got a new show produced by 50 Cent called Power, which is alright. I've watched 1 episode last night. It's not too bad. It's not original, the story's completely unoriginal, the acting is passable, but it's one of those where it's borderline, it could be shit, but it keeps you interested, so I'm going to continue watching it. I've got another 7 of them to watch, so yeah, so that takes a lot of my time up. So when I've got times like that where there's just like loads of TV shows backed up to watch, it can become difficult to try and balance everything, because I'm also on my second playthrough of The Last of Us at the moment, so I've been spending a lot of time playing that. So I'm trying to switch between the two and also watch YouTube videos. So yeah, it can be a bit of a struggle sometimes. I've run out of drinks, what am I doing? But yeah, but that's the modern world, unfortunately. There's so much. I mean, if I was into Facebook and everything, I'd never find time to do anything, because, you know, this modern world is just information, just thrown at you constantly, and there's just so much to do. My sofa's squeaking against my TV, and it's really getting on my tits. Anyway, next question is, why is summer always such a dead time for new games? I wish I knew, mate. I think that is a valid question, and I've never understood why. I know that I would assume, at least, that the developers, publishers would think that because it's summer and the sun's out and it's nice, everyone's out, you know, doing other things, they're not really indoors playing video games. But that's not true, because most of us are. You know, you can still, I mean, at the end of the day, you can go out in the daytime, but night time you still need to entertain yourself. So I think realistically, it makes no sense to me at all in this modern era that they don't release games during the summer. I mean, you get the occasional game, but there's not most, as we know, most of the games come out near the end of the year, and they, you know, towards Christmas, because they can sell a lot more, which is a bit annoying. They should spread them more evenly. So we've got, because I don't like it when you've got like a month or two and you're just sitting around waiting for something to come out. That's annoying. I've always found that. But you know, the only good thing at the moment is if you bought a PS4 or an Xbox One, it's great, because there's still a load of like last gen games, at least for me anyway, that I haven't played yet, and you can go back and pick them up cheap now, so you can fill the time. So that's kind of nice. But once in a couple of years, when all that's done and your PS4 and Xbox is just, you know, Xbox One is standard, yeah, it's going to be the same again. So they really need to do something about that. I'd like to see them just spread the games over the year more evenly. Right, next question has come from Scribble Sam Animation, and he asked, do I like Power Rangers? Love Power Rangers, mate. Not like fanatical, I know all the characters and all the storylines and everything, but when it's on, if I catch it, I'll watch it, because I really enjoy it. The new ones are mental. I was watching one the other day, I don't know what it's called, the new one. It's on Channel 5 or something. I don't know if it was one of them battle ones or something, but man, it was proper over the top, and the robots were just crazy. But I love Power Rangers. I love the original Power Rangers. I think it was the yellow Power Ranger was my favourite, if I remember rightly. Not the pink one, because that was the white girl. I'm sure it was. Yeah, it was the yellow Power Ranger. She was hot. Yeah, I really like. I think Power Rangers is fantastic. It's just fun and cheesy. Do you like Japanese superheroes like Ultraman and Kamen Rider? I don't know enough about, when it comes to like Japanese superheroes, cartoons, anime, that stuff, I don't really know too much about it, and I've never been able to get into it. The only reference I've got for Ultraman is the Super Nintendo game, which was bloody awful. So I don't know, to be honest, mate. And do you like Godzilla? Yeah, Godzilla's cool. I've never watched the films and that, but I'm aware of what Godzilla is. I am going to watch the new film and see what that's like, because that's supposed to be pretty decent. I've heard it can be a bit slow, but it's supposed to be a pretty reasonable film, so I'll give it a shot. You know, I mean, I like monster movies. I like, you know, Cloverfield was one of my favourite films. I really enjoyed that a lot. So yeah. So when you can't, how can you not like Godzilla? I mean, it's a massive lizard destroying shit. I mean, you know, having fights. What's not to like about that? Right. Okay. Okay, so PS1 fan is asking me about Xbox, the original Xbox. When you soft mod a PAL Xbox, are you able to play other region DVDs? If not, what region free Blu-ray DVD players would you recommend? Yeah, as far as I can remember, you can just unlock the DVD on it as well. So you don't have to use that dongle thing on the front, and you can just play any DVD from any region. I'm pretty certain last time I did it, I was playing Region 1 DVDs on it. So yeah, that should be quite straightforward, mate. And all you need is the mod and a copy of Splinter Cell, and it takes like 5 minutes. It's really simple to do a soft mod. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that about box sets and things. It's annoying that some things just don't get released over here. It winds me. It's like certain films get a Blu-ray release in America and not here. And you know, trying to get a region free Blu-ray player is a pain in the arse. I mean, I've been trying to find a way of hacking my Blu-ray player, but I can't find anything that does it, which is a bit annoying. I've got a Panasonic BV30, which is a bit old now. If anyone knows how to hack that to make it like zone free, please let me know, because that would be great. If not, I'll probably have to just buy one eventually, another Blu-ray player. It'd be alright if they made the PlayStation 3 region free, that'd be really handy. I'm sure if you can mod it and stuff, but I don't really want to piss about with all that. But anyway, but yeah, if you soft mod your Xbox, you should be able to play all DVDs from different countries, so that's not a problem. Region 3 Blu-ray is a totally different issue. As I say, you can go online, do a Google, and there's plenty of companies that actually sell Zone 3 Blu-ray players, so that's not a problem at all. With Blu-ray, you just want a decent brand like Sony or Panasonic, really. You know, can't really go wrong. And they're not that expensive either, from what I remember, because I think I checked last year. Okay, so next question from a good mate, Stu Ninja Bear Hug. Fantastic YouTuber, top bloke. His question is, how many of your Super Nintendo games have you beaten? Don't know, mate. Let me see. I've beat Street Fighter 2, Mario World, Mario Kart I've beaten, Star Fox I've beaten. That's 4. Back in the day I completed Castlevania 4 and Contra 3. So that's 2 more, but I haven't completed them as an adult yet because they're bloody hard. They're proper challenging. I've nearly completed Final Fight 2, but I got killed at the last boss, which really pissed me off. It took me ages to get there and I got hammered. That was annoying. But yeah, that's about it really. I mean, those are the main ones, you know. So I do need to get on there. I've got a major backlog, I know. So when I get the chance and my room's back up and running again, I will get stuck in. Okay. So just checking to see if we've got any more questions. Okay, so 16-bit Jay again. Hello, Jay. And his question, as for the question, what are your thoughts on game movies, like the Resident Evil, for example? Do you prefer them to go along the lines of the game, or if they put their own twist on it? He said he'd like to see an Uncharted movie. There is an Uncharted movie actually coming, mate, so your wish is granted on that one. He said, but the games often feel so cinematic it probably isn't needed. It's a good question, actually, because we've got the Uncharted movies coming and we've got the Last of Us movie coming. Now, the Last of Us, I'm going to hold judgment until the film comes out. I just don't really see what the point of making a film out of it is. It seems a little pointless to me. You know, it is an interactive cinematic experience. The interactive part is what makes it so brilliant. To just have, I mean don't get me wrong, that's the problem with the Last of Us. It's an amazing interactive experience, but it's also got this fantastic story and it's an amazing cinematic experience. I just don't know that there's any reason to make a live action version of it. Unless they're going to come out with something phenomenal and they're going to change the story a little bit and make it more broad. I don't know. I mean, I think when you make a film of a game, like a comic book movie, you shouldn't really stick to the original source material completely. You have to make it work as a film. Because obviously when you're doing different entertainment, whether you're doing games, films, comic books, you have to adapt your story to those different types. So what works in a comic book won't necessarily translate well to a film, which has happened in the past. Now they're taking the films more seriously and they're making proper films, but you just accept that there are superheroes in that world. It works a lot better, and you know, it becomes a lot more a serious take on the genre. The same with games. They're still, most of the time I feel they've just made video game films. They haven't taken the source material seriously. With games like Uncharted and Last of Us, because they're more cinematic in their feel and their design, there's a lot more chance that they could make a good solid film out of that. The Tomb Raider films, I actually personally quite enjoyed them. I thought they were decent. They weren't brilliant, but they were watchable and fun. But if they were to take a serious look at the Lara Croft character, you could make a really solid film out of that. I mean, the way they did with the last Tomb Raider game that came out, they rebooted the whole franchise and they took it more seriously. It wasn't like Lara Croft with massive breasts and she's just completely cartoonish. They made a serious game and it worked fantastically. It's one of my favourite games of last gen. So I think if they did that with a film, that would be absolutely brilliant. But yeah, I mean, I'm always open to somebody making a decent film with a game because it's possible. I just think they have to be more selective in what they do. I just really can't see any point in making an Uncharted and Last of Us movies. It just seems a little pointless to me. But I may be completely wrong. They might be proven wrong when they come out. They might be fantastic, and if they are, brilliant. I'll buy them on Blu-ray. I'll go and watch them at the cinema. I'm just a bit confused as to what the point is. But they have more narrative options than they do with a lot of video games. I mean, the interesting thing is that the Street Fighter movie was absolutely god awful, yet the Mortal Kombat movie was actually pretty reasonable. It was a decent film, and I know it depends if you look into the mythology, and there's a lot of backstory with Mortal Kombat and the whole what's the word I'm looking for? Competition. That's it. And all the different characters have their own individual stories. So there's a lot to explore there, and you could make a really solid film out of it. I thought the first one was really good, the second one was alright, but they could make a really interesting movie out of that. And it all comes down to having a really good, solid script writer who knows what they're doing and takes the material seriously and doesn't just, oh, it's just a game or it's a comic book and doesn't take it seriously. You need someone to take it seriously in the first place. And then you need a solid director with a good vision who knows what they're doing and also takes the material seriously. And then, of course, you need to get a good cast, and that's essential. I mean, a lot of actors are now trying to come into video games, and it's nice to actually see actors taking it seriously and not just seeing it as video game acting, because that's another problem you've got. And even if you translate it to a film, they can still do video game acting and not do proper acting. And you have to, as an actor, forget what the source material is and just take the script as it is and embody that character. That's the only way you're going to make a solid film. But yeah, I'm open to any game being made into a film as long as it's done right. I just think certain games like Last of Us and Uncharted, it feels just a bit weird to take that experience and make it a strictly non-interactive experience. It's just just a passive experience. I don't know if that's the right way to go, but I'm open to it. We'll wait and see anyway when they come out. Maybe they'll surprise us all. That's a long answer. Okay, I think that's the last question. Yeah, it is. That's the last question of the week. So thank you very much to everyone who asked me a question. That was awesome. Good episode. Lots of interesting questions there. So I hope you enjoyed this, guys. If you did, as always, please just give it a thumbs up. And if you want to watch more videos from me, just click on subscribe. That'll just keep you up to date with all my new videos. Thank you very much for watching, guys. I will be back next week. If you have a question for me, just drop it in the comments and I'll post that in the response next Friday. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you all again soon.